Welcome back to the Crime Decoder, where we peel back the layers of the world's most shocking true crime stories. Today, we're diving into the heartbreaking case of Caroline Crouch, a young woman whose dreams of love and a perfect life were shattered in a crime that stunned Greece and captivated the world. Born on July 12, 2001 in Athens, Greece, to David Crouch, a retired British engineer, and Susan DeLosta, Filipino homemaker. Caroline was a bright, spirited girl with a zest for life. At age 8, her family moved to the idyllic Greek island of Ionissos, enchanted by its turquoise waters and tranquil coastal charm. For Caroline, the island was a playground. She became an avid swimmer and scuba diver, her love for the sea shaping her carefree, adventurous spirit. At 15, during a vibrant Good Friday parade in 2017 on Ionissos, Caroline's world changed. She met Haralambos Bobby's Anagnostopoulos, a 27-year-old commercial helicopter pilot with a magnetic personality and financial stability. Bobbas, who was visiting the island where his mother worked as a teacher at Caroline's school, went to extraordinary lengths to capture her attention. In a gesture straight out of a teenage romance novel, he flew his helicopter over her school, a dazzling display that left the young Caroline starstruck. To a 15-year-old dreaming of fairy tale love, Bobbas was a prince charming, charismatic, adventurous, and seemingly perfect. Their whirlwind romance culminated in 2019, when 18-year-old Caroline and Bobbas eloped in Portugal, opting for a private ceremony over the traditional Greek wedding filled with family, friends, and celebration. Their social media accounts overflowed with images of a blissful couple, jet-setting and building a life together. But beneath the polished exterior, a much darker story was unfolding. Caroline's private diary, later uncovered by investigators, revealed a relationship marred by control and emotional turmoil. What seemed like a romantic elopement was, in hindsight, an early sign of Bobbas's desire to isolate Caroline from her loved ones. As a university student in Athens, Caroline had little financial independence, relying on funds sent by her mother, which Bobbas frequently controlled. Her diary entries from 2019 painted a grim picture: frequent arguments, moments of despair, and a growing sense of entrapment. "I love Bobbas so much that I can't leave him, even though this relationship hurts me," she wrote in one entry. Another described a tearful confrontation, where she expressed her desire to leave and stay with her sister, but felt unable to act. The birth of their daughter Lydia, in June 2020, intensified Caroline's struggles. A diary entry from July 2020, when Lydia was just a month old, she wrote, "Today my little one is a month old. It's also the day I told Bobbas I want to leave. I feel awful." Caroline stayed, driven by her hope that Lydia could grow up with both parents. But the relationship grew increasingly toxic. Bobbas's controlling behavior escalated. He monitored her movements, limited her social interactions, and exerted financial dominance. Text messages and phone records later revealed heated exchanges, with Caroline planning to escape with Lydia to a hotel on the night of her death. Her diary entries spoke of an abyss filled with pain, fear, and a longing for freedom, a stark contrast to the joyful couple portrayed on social media. On May 11, 2021, in the quiet Athens suburb of Glikonera, the couple's two-story rented home became the stage for a horrific crime, according to Bobbas's initial account. He was awakened at 4:30 a.m. by three masked intruders with Greek and Albanian accents, armed with a black pistol and a silver Colt. The men, he claimed, overpowered him, tied his hands and feet behind his back, and wrapped duct tape around his eyes, mouth, and neck. They demanded money, and Bobbas, desperate to protect his family, directed them to 10,000 euros hidden inside a Monopoly board game box savings for a dream home. The couple planned to build on a plot of land purchased with a 50,000 euros gift from Caroline's parents. In Greece, where distrust in banks was common due to economic instability, hiding cash at home was a widespread practice. Bobbas said the intruders ransacked the house, stealing jewelry worth 20,000 euros, and killing the couple's 7-month-old husky Roxy by strangling her with her own leash. Most devastatingly, they smothered 19-year-old Caroline with a pillow, leaving her lifeless on the bed beside their 11-month-old daughter, Lydia, who was crying and trying to rouse her mother. Bobbas claimed the rope around his neck was so tight that he drifted in and out of consciousness. When he came to, the intruders were gone, and he could hear only Lydia's anguished cries. Hanging his nose, he managed to dial emergency services, his muffled voice pleading for help. Robbers came in, he told the operator, struggling to convey the horror through the duct tape. First responders arrived around 6 a.m. to a scene of chaos. The living room and kitchen were in disarrayed drawers, emptied clothes scattered, and the Monopoly box lying open. A security camera torn from the wall rested on the couch, its memory card missing. Roxy's lifeless body hung from the staircase, a grim symbol of the violence that had unfolded. In the main bedroom, Babis was found bound on the floor, his face obscured by duct tape. Caroline lay face down on the bed, her pale skin confirming she was deceased. Lydia, unharmed but visibly distressed, was clapping and pushing her mother's body, unaware of the tragedy. The scene was gut-wrenching, and Babis, freed from his restraints, collapsed in shock upon seeing his wife's body. The police initially accepted Babis' story of a violent home invasion. They theorized that 4 intruders were involved, 3 inside the house and 1 keeping watch outside. The absence of fingerprints or DNA, except for a single hood allegedly dropped during a struggle, suggested a professional operation. Based on Babis' description, investigators created a sketch of a tall, overweight, dark-skinned suspect. The missing security camera, memory card, and the couple's practice of hiding cash supported the theory of a targeted robbery, possibly based on a tip from someone close to the couple. Nearby security footage revealed a dark-colored car and a motorcycle circling the area that morning, further fueling suspicions of a planned attack. The brutality of the crime, killing a young mother, a family pet, threatening an infant, pointed to perpetrators with a lack of empathy, possibly seasoned criminals. Public speculation ran rampant. Why was murder necessary if the motive was robbery? Some theorized Caroline, a black belt in kickboxing, fought back, prompting the intruders to silence her. Others suggested she recognized them, or that the intruders were under the influence, unable to control their actions. The police questioned the couple's inner circle, suspecting the intruders knew about the hidden cash. The case gripped Greece, with residents living in fear and racial tensions rising as crimes targeting homes increased. A potential breakthrough came when police arrested Georgios Karatzis, a 36-year-old Georgian national. During a routine stop near the Bulgarian border, Karatzis, a career criminal with 12 prior break-ins in Athens, including 3 near Glikaniro, matched the sketch and had a history of violent robberies. In one incident, he and accomplices entered a home through a rear window, dragged a woman by her hair, and threatened to slit her throat, stealing 10,000 euros in cash and jewelry. The similarities to the Crouch case were uncanny, and his attempt to flee with a fake passport heightened suspicions. However, after 4 days of intense interrogation, including physical coercion that left him concussed, Karatzis denied any involvement in Caroline's murder. The evidence against him proved insufficient, and he was cleared, leading to the demotion of 3 Athens homicide detectives for their handling of the case. The investigation hit a dead end, and public frustration grew as a substantial reward for information went unclaimed. On June 17, 2021, 37 days after Caroline's murder, a memorial service was held on Alonissos, where she was laid to rest. Babis, visibly emotional, paid tribute to his wife, calling himself lucky to have loved her and vowing to raise Lydia in her memory. He actively engaged with the media and social media, thanking supporters and keeping Caroline's case in the public eye. But detectives, who had been quietly observing, approached him after the ceremony, asking him to return to Athens to identify a suspect. Babis agreed, unaware that he was now the prime suspect. Investigators had uncovered critical inconsistencies in his story. Babis claimed the intruders entered through a small basement window, but its size made it impossible for the described suspect to fit through. Neighbors reported hearing only Roxy's cries, not the sounds of a ransacked house, cries for help, or a distressed infant. Data showed the camera's memory card was removed at 1:20 a.m., hours before the alleged break-in. Caroline's smartwatch recorded her heart rate spiking at 4:05 a.m., indicating severe physical or emotional stress, and stopping at 4:11 a.m., contradicting Babis's timeline. Babis's phone app showed movement during the time he claimed to be tied up. Phone records revealed she had booked a hotel for herself and Lydia and texted a friend about leaving Babis, indicating a deteriorating relationship. Police also attempted to recreate Babis's claim of dialing emergency services with his nose, but no one could replicate it. The absence of DNA or fingerprints, combined with the staged appearance of the crime scene, raised red flags. Why would intruders tie up a man but fight a woman? Why was the house trashed but no neighbors heard anything? The evidence pointed to a chilling conclusion. There were no intruders. After an 8-hour interrogation, confronted with irrefutable evidence, Bobbies broke down and confessed. On the night of May 10, 2021, he and Caroline had a heated argument, claimed she threatened to leave with Lydia, threw their daughter into a cot, physically attacked him, pushing and punching him. Enraged, Bobbies said his judgment became clouded. He strangled Caroline and smothered her with a pillow, using his full body weight in a brutal act that lasted 6 minutes. Bruises on her lips and body, along with signs of a struggle, confirmed she fought desperately for her life. The murder took place in front of their 11-month-old daughter, a horrifying detail that underscored the cold-blooded nature of the crime. To cover his tracks, Bobbies staged an elaborate robbery. He killed Roxy to add to the chaos, removed the security camera's memory card hours earlier, trashed the house to mimic a break-in. He placed Lydia beside Caroline's body to evoke sympathy and tied himself up with rope and duct tape, creating the illusion of a victim. His confession was chilling, laced with attempts to shift blame to Caroline's alleged aggression and their disputes over Lydia, whom he called his whole life. He expressed remorse, saying he deserved punishment and owed an apology to those he hurt. But his words rang hollow, overshadowed by the calculated deception. In May 2022, Bobbies Anagnostopoulos was convicted of premeditated murder, perverting the course of justice, lying to authorities, and animal cruelty. Sentenced to life in prison, he became the central figure in a case dubbed the murder that fooled the world. His confidence in evading justice was so great that he failed to destroy critical evidence, such as Caroline's smartwatch and his fitness app data, which ultimately unraveled his lies. The case shocked Greece, exposing the hidden dangers of domestic abuse, masked by a facade of love and perfection. Caroline's daughter, Lydia, now faces a future without her mother, growing up with only the shadow of a tragedy she was too young to understand. Caroline's diary entries and final desperate plans to escape reveal a young woman fighting for her freedom, only to be silenced by the man she once loved. Her story serves as a stark reminder of the insidious nature of coercive control and the devastating consequences of unchecked manipulation. The murder of Caroline Crouch is more than a true crime story, it's a cautionary tale about the dangers lurking behind seemingly perfect relationships. It's a call to listen to those silenced by fear and to recognize the signs of abuse before it's too late. Thank you for joining us on the Crime Decoder as we unravel this heartbreaking case. What are your thoughts on this tragic story? Share them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the cases that shock and captivate. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.